Hello, good day, how are you? I'm Red. What's your name? Oh, that's a nice name. Today I'm going to be reading some r/IDontWorkHereLady, read by Red. Let's get going. You can't quit, I want you fired. The morning after a good rowdy kickback in our apartment, my roommate and I go to the orange hardware store after noticing some holes in the walls. Roommate goes to find plaster and I go to paint. I get to the paint department and I'm looking through the paint swatches to remember what our walls look like. Keep in mind, still very hungover. I pick out a colour that's probably the closest. If not, then I'll just mix my own paint. Art minor. There's no employee at the paint mixing station, so I just put the swatch in my hoodie. To pass time, I sort the paint swatches properly because mild OCD. Then it comes. I need you to do your damn job and mix me some paint. I stare blankly as hangover is blocking my ability to respond. Hello? I'm talking to you? Mix my effing paint! Fortunately, my brain finally decides to turn on again. I don't work here. Don't effing lie to me. I saw you sorting the colour wall poorly. Only a lazy employee would do that sort of stuff. Ma'am, I'm gonna be honest, I'm really hungover and your screeching is making me want to puke. That statement went as well as you would expect. You effing terrible worker and terrible person for saying that. I'm going to get your manager and have you fired. She storms off. Once the banshee left, I hear chuckling from down the aisle behind me. Lo and behold, my roommate listened to most of it and is laughing his butt off. He asked if I got the paint and I explained the first part of the confrontation. We decided to wait for the manager because maybe he'll mix our paint before we're kicked out. We wait a few more minutes and an employee named George walks up, oblivious to what just transpired, and starts mixing our paint. Enter stage left, Karen with a very annoyed manager on her heels. That's the one that called me an orangutan whore and he needs to be fired right now. Manager. George, I'm frankly surprised you'd say such a nasty thing. What now? Not him! The scrawny one in a hoodie! He even told me he's drunk! The manager looks at me and looks confused. Ma'am, he doesn't work here, but I can ask him for leave for insulting you. No, he definitely works here! I saw him working! Okay, then I quit. You can't quit! I want you fired! By now our paint is done mixing and I ask George if he'd like to escort us to the front. I've never seen a morning shift employee brighten up so fast. Karen is belligerent and the manager tries to calm her down with coupons. My roommate George and I leave paint as fast as possible and can still hear the screeching from the cashier's stand. We pay and George walks us to the car. I explained what really happened and he laughs and says he'll tell the manager the situation. Initially, my roommate and I were going to go straight home, but we had to see the outcome of this, so George agreed he'd come back out once the orangutan whore was gone. The police ended up having to be called just to escort her out, but she was not arrested. The manager and George came out to the car as George had already explained what had happened. The manager profusely apologized. We laughed it off. I said something along the lines of, it was worth getting out of bed for this, despite the hangover. The manager gave us free membership perks, and the next time we came in, we were so kindly informed that Karen had come back later that day and vandalized some of the yard equipment on display, and she was arrested. Serves the orangutan whore right. I reckon she's been called that before, and that's how she came up with that. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, our next story. I don't care if you don't work here, it's still bad customer service. I was washing my dog at a local pet store. They have public dog baths there with tons of signs about cost of using them. I was rinsing my dog off when I heard someone ask an employee, "Do you guys trim dog nails here?" I kept rinsing because I don't work there and assumed they were talking to an employee. I also couldn't see them because the dog bath is somewhat tucked behind some shelves. "Excuse me," I heard someone say in an annoying voice. I still didn't look up. I don't work there. The crappy customer was a greying man with a potbelly and a deep voice. I heard the dog wash gate open, so I glanced over my shoulder. There's multiple baths to use there, and saw someone staring at me with their hands up. Crappy customer pulled down their mask and strongly said, "Excuse me, do you trim nails here?" "Oh, I don't think they do, but I don't work here. You'll have to ask someone who does." "But I just asked you. Why would I ask someone else?" "Because I don't work here." "If you don't work here, why are you washing someone's dog?" "I'm washing my own dog. This is a public dog bath." I pointed at the sign that read "Dog Bath, $10 per use." "So, you don't trim nails here, you just wash dogs? How much would it be if I brought 2 dogs in?" "Dude, I don't effing work here. I just told you that 3 times. Go ask someone else." "I don't care if you don't work here. That's still bad customer service." Oh my god. I already have a short temper with stupid people, but I was getting more than annoyed by crappy customer, especially since crappy customer kept getting closer and closer in a gated bathing area, and my dog was starting to get agitated by him. "I don't work here, you effing idiot! I told you over and over again! F off!" My dog started growling, which he only does because of the excitement. He's not aggressive. Crappy customer stormed off, slamming the gate and knocking over some dog treats. I could hear him from the other side of the store yelling at the cashier. "I want his name now! I want him fired!" "I'm sorry, who are you talking about?" "The employee at the dog wash." The cashier looks in my direction. "I'm the only employee here. That man washing his dog is a customer. Is there something I can do for you?" "Yes, get your manager on the phone." "But that man is not an employee. I'm actually the only employee here today." "I don't care!" Cashier was silent for a few seconds and said, "I just told you he doesn't work here. I'm not calling the manager, but I'm going to ask you to leave." "I'm not leaving until you call your manager." "If you don't leave, I'm calling the police." "F you! I'm writing a review! This is terrible customer service!" Crappy customer stormed out. I've never in my life been confused as an employee anywhere, especially at this pet store as they wear blue shirts. I was wearing a black hoodie. After he was yelling at the cashier, I couldn't tell if he was all there in the head. Either way, I don't work here. Those were some hilarious r/I don't work here lady stories. Read by me. Read. If you liked them even a little tiny bit, please click the like button on this video, and please subscribe if you haven't already, so you can have the pleasure of listening to my voice over and over again. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Bye bye!